What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today I'm going to be going over how you can obtain and upgrade your Solstice of Heroes armor for Titans. This year's Solstice of Heroes event runs from July 6th through August 3rd, and while that may feel like a lot of time to have to work on your Solstice armor, with tons of objectives and multiple sets of armor, this is no easy feat, which is why I'm going to be breaking down each piece of armor, going over their complete objectives and the best way to complete them quickly and efficiently. Now, as always, if you enjoy the video, be sure to hit that like button below along with the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And if you're in need of a fire team support this solstice, be sure to check out the Discord link in the description below to join the SBK community and clan. So this year's solstice armor is broken down into 3 sets for each class. A blue set called Renewed, a legendary set called Majestic, and a masterwork set called Magnificent. And while you do not need to complete the Magnificent set during the event, you will need to complete the first 2 before the event ends. And to note, if you are after the Filigree of Light Ghost Shell, you are going to need to complete all 3 sets for each of the classes before the event ends. So we will begin with the Renewed armor. To start, you're going to need to visit Eva Levante to receive just the helmet at first. A little bit of just the tip. She will send you off to do an introductory round of the EAZ encounter, which you will need to wear the helmet during, and once completed, she will then give you the rest of the Renewed set. Now that you have the objective completed on the helmet for the EAZ, you only have 2 objectives left, which are to collect 200 elemental orbs and defeat 20 combatants with finishers. These are both objectives that can be easily done in any activity that you choose. The Renewed Gauntlet's objectives requires you to complete 1 playlist activity, open 10 Solstice packages, and defeat 200 Hive combatants. Completing the EAZ encounter will be the quickest way to get the packages, obviously, and odds are your playlist activity, if going with a Strike or Gambit, you'll probably face off against Hive. Otherwise, you can load up Free Roam on Earth or Moon to quickly complete this one. The Renewed Boots require you to complete 2 public events on any location, collect 50 Orbs of Light, which should be over pretty quickly if you're doing Strikes or Gambit, and you will need to defeat 50 combatants with supers, which a roaming super would be best suited for this objective. The Renewed Titan Marks objectives will have you completing 3 normal lost sectors, collect 200 solar elemental orbs, and defeat 100 combatants with precision kills. Once you have completed the entire Renewed set, you can return to Eva to receive your Majestic set. Now, I do suggest once you have completed the Majestic set on your Titan, you should at that point switch to an alternate character. That way you can utilize the accelerants offered by Eva. This way you can boost the progress of your 2nd and 3rd characters. Now, if your goal is to finish all 3 characters during the Solstice event, this will definitely need to be what you do. Now, as far as the requirements for the Majestic set, the Majestic Helm requires you to defeat 5 bosses in a single run of the EAZ 3 times over. You will need to collect 500 total elemental orbs of any kind, and you will need to rapidly defeat 100 enemies. It counts as rapidly defeating enemies when you have defeated 3 enemies quickly. Now, the Majestic Gauntlets will require you to complete 100 events of either Altar of Sorrows, on the Moon, or Override events. And since Override is the seasonal activity, you will have a better time going with that one. You will also need to receive 20 Empowerment buffs and defeat 200 combatants with solar weapons. Keep in mind, to pick up the empowerments, you do have to pick up the actual elemental orbs and have the elemental orb or elemental subclass matching those orbs. If you're arc based and you pick up Void, it's going to negate anything you've picked up previously, so keep that in mind. The Majestic chest piece will require you to collect 50 Solstice key fragments, which can be easily done by completing EAZ activities. You will also have to complete either 100 Blind Well activities or Wrathborn hunts. And finally, you will need to collect 100 Arc Grenade kills. For the Sunstead Majestic boots, you will need to create 100 Void or Stasis orbs while in a playlist, and you will have to get 50 melee kills while equipped with Void subclass. And finally, you're going to need to complete 100 activities of either Europa events or Battlegrounds, which, since Battlegrounds is on a playlist, that will certainly be your best bet. The Majestic Titan Mark will require you to defeat 50 powerful Hive enemies, which will be the Yellow Bard enemies. And this is easily done in either Battlegrounds, since you're going to be there anyways, or Strikes and Gambit. You will need to create 50 Arc Orbs while in the EAZ, and you're going to need to complete 3 Nightfalls or competitive Crucible matches. For many that are not very PvP minded, the Nightfalls are definitely going to be the way to go. Now, once you have completed your Majestic pieces, you're going to return to Eva once again. This time, she's going to be rewarding you with the Magnificent Armor set. And this is where things will get even more tedious than they were before. The Sunstead Helm will require you to complete 1 Master or Grandmaster Nightfall. You will need to be at least 1335 to enter a Grandmaster Nightfall, so for many, a Master Nightfall will probably be a safer and easier objective. The Gauntlet will require you to complete 1 raid, and this can be of any of the available raids. With Vault of Glass being the most recent and relevant one, that's probably where you're going to be most likely to find a fire team. The chest piece will require you to complete 1 dungeon of your choosing, and with many of the dungeons being lower level than we are currently, this shouldn't be overly difficult to complete. The boots will require you to defeat either 15 champions on any activity or 15 guardians in the competitive playlist. And finally, the Titan Mark will require you to complete 3 legendary or master lost sectors. Now, it's important to note here that when completing objectives, like the raid for example, you only have to have your helm equipped in that case. That way, if you want to use other armor pieces or exotics to boost your light level or mods and increase your DPS, then that's definitely something that you're going to want to do to make things easier for yourself. And again, the Majestic armor set does not need to be completed during the Solstice event unless you are aiming to pick up the Filigree of Light Ghost Shell. And once you've completed the Majestic set, you will now have the ability to apply the Armor Glow to it. As a suggestion, throughout this process, I would advise against spending materials to level up and mod out your armor, unless you absolutely have to in order to complete an objective. It's going to be much better for you to level up your armor as you need to, and then purchase the armor packages from Eva that have higher chances of dropping higher roll or higher stats. Overall, these objectives are very similar to the Solstice events that we've had in years past, and even though these are very time-consuming objectives, you have a variety of options in how you want to complete them, which is definitely nice to have, since we're going to be pouring quite a bit of time into these armor sets over the upcoming weeks. I wish you guys all the best in leveling up your armor sets and enjoying Solstice of Heroes this season. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button below, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. Hitting the bell will keep you notified whenever I come out with new Destiny content. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing y'all some happy hunting.